One of the most amazing things about blockchain is that you have unrestricted access to an emerging open financial ecosystem, where you can do things like flash loans, where you can borrow millions of dollars of cryptocurrency for free to generate passive income. And the good news is that you have a massive edge as a blockchain developer to do this in ways that other people can't. I'm going to break down exactly how you can use flash loans to make passive income in 2023 step by step in this video as a blockchain developer myself who works with this technology on a daily basis. So if you're new around here, hey, I'm Gregory. On this channel, I turn into a blockchain master. So if that's what you're interested in, definitely smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe to this channel. All right, so let's get into this. Let's talk about how to make passive incomes with flash loans in 2023 and how you have a massive as a developer to do this. So I'm going to break down the entire strategy in this video. So make sure you watch all the way through. But if you want to see every detail of this implementation step by step, then make sure you join me live for the Flash Loan Masterclass on Thursday, February 9th. Inside, I'm going to show you everything that you need to know to make a profitable passive income app with flash loans in 2023, give you the exact coding solution, how to set it up, and how to customize it to do whatever you want. So make sure you sign up with the link down below to hold your spot today. All right, so let's get back into this. So the first thing you have to understand is what is a flash loan in the first place? Well, this is where you can borrow millions of dollars of cryptocurrency basically for free on the blockchain as long as you pay it back in the same transaction. So what does that mean? So basically with blockchains, you have simple transactions, you have complex transactions. A simple transaction is like I'm just sending you cryptocurrency, all right? And a complex transaction is one that has multiple steps. Like let's say you want to borrow some money, trade it, and then pay it back. You can do all that inside of a transaction as a programmer when you create smart contracts. That's how you can borrow, crypto, trade it, do whatever you want to with it, and then pay it back. And there's no risk that you can lose the money because of how the smart contracts work. All right, so what can you do with a flash loan once you've learned how to do one? Well, you can do lots of different things. You can do arbitrage trading where you buy cryptocurrency on one exchange and sell on another for profit. You can do things like liquidations, which essentially is looking at different loans that are outstanding in DeFi that are delinquent and helping recoup some of those losses for, DeFi protocols. But one of the big ones that most people don't think about that much is with yield farming and adding leverage to that so that you can create a truly passive income application that earns money while you sleep. All right, so next let's talk about what is yield farming in the first place, okay? So this is basically where you take cryptocurrency and you park it into a decentralized application, a DeFi app that's powered by smart contract, and it pays you passive income just by giving your money over the protocol because they need funds in order to operate. So let's look at an example here. This is Aave. This is a savings and lending application. It basically works like a bank where you can, put money in it like a stable coin, like DAI, for example. They can pay you a certain interest on top of that. That's because people are taking loans out on the other side and they're sort of earning money off of the spread. And you can see here, it's paying this 1.38% interest, and that's yield. Okay, that's where the yield and yield farming comes from. And the farming really comes from people trying to find the best yield. So there's lots of different ways you can do this. You can look at, websites that'll tell you what the current best yields are on certain cryptocurrencies, and you can move around from application to application to try to maximize that. Or you can do things like use techniques to boost the yield. And that's where the flash loans come into play. All right. And I'll show you how that works in a second, but let's talk about why it's such a big deal, because yield farming is basically passive once you just set it and forget it. Most other ways that you can use flash loans to make money are not really passive. Okay. Let's say that you have a trading bot, for example, is doing arbitrage trading. There's work to get that thing set up and to find the strategy that's going to work for you. And then you have to sort of like maintain that strategy. Same thing with like liquidations. But if you're talking about doing a yield farm, or you're just staying in the same yield farm and increasing that exposure with flash loans, and that's truly passive once it's completely set up. So let me show you how you can use flash loans to increase your yield farming rewards to completely create a passive income application. So let's look at this yield farm right here. So this is what's called compound finance. This is another decentralized finance protocol that works kind of like the one we just saw a minute ago, Aave. It's a savings and lending application. You can park cryptocurrency into it. You can take out loans, all right? So you can see one example here is DAI. That's a stable cryptocurrency. Its price doesn't change. That's one of the nice things about this is you can just take a cryptocurrency that's not going to go up and down in value, park it into an app, and then earn passive income, right? So you can deposit DAI for 1.07% here and then borrow for 2.81% here. Now, nobody really is going to write home about getting 1.07% APR on their coins here, but what you can see is that you can actually earn an additional reward here, which is paid out in a separate token. This is the compound token right here. So if you look at that, here's an example. Basically, you take your DAI, you put in the application, it pays you interest back on your DAI, but it also gives you this second token called the comp token, which is, again, the token for the compound finance application to boost those rewards. And what happens here, this is called a liquidity pool, all right? that's in the smart contract that you can use as a developer. Now, what's cool about this is because you are a developer, you can do things in this application that most people are not going to be able to do, because again, it's on the blockchain. Anybody can access it in a permissionless way. And these liquidity pools that I'm showing you here are powered by smart contracts. So you can make your own smart contracts that let you do, other things that you can't do through the interface. Now, let me give you an example. So essentially, you see that you can borrow DAI here, you can deposit DAI here, but you can also borrow. So the standard way of using compound finance is you deposit money into it, let's say DAI, for example, and you turn around and borrow a different cryptocurrency, maybe like Uni tokens or, Ether, whatever, right? Now, as a developer, you can deposit cryptocurrency and borrow the same cryptocurrency and turn around and do that. And you might say, why would you want to do that in the first place? Well, basically, why is because you can essentially earn more tokens right here, these comp tokens, for doing that. So essentially, if you deposit, this and you borrow this, okay, and then you sort of cancels out the interest rates here, but you're boosting your interest rates on the second cryptocurrency that you're getting, which is going to increase your rewards here. Now, you can also take that to the next level and use flash loans to additionally increase your exposure, and that's what's going to really boost up your interest rates. And that's where you have a huge as a developer, so I'll explain that now. So let's go through this step by step. So again, let's go back to the application. What you're going to do is you're going to start off with a cryptocurrency like DAI, a stablecoin, all right? And you're going to create a smart contract that plugs into the compound finance protocol that does the following things. I'll show you each of these step by step. All right, the first thing that it's going to do, it's going to take your DAI and it's going to deposit it into the application. So just for easy numbers, let's assume that you're doing this with $30. Just a nice, easy number. You'll see why it's like that in a second. But you take $30 of DAI, okay? You put it into the application. It's going to earn 1.07% APR in DAI itself. That doesn't really matter. We'll see that in a second. But this is going to earn this many comp tokens, all right? But then the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to go to a flash loan liquidity pool, and you are going to borrow $70 worth of DAI, okay? So you're going to take $30 of your own money. You're going to borrow $70. You're going to combine those two, to make $100 deposited into the application, all right? And then what you're going to do is you're going to turn around inside the exact same move, and you're going to re-borrow, all right, $70 worth of DAI on the other side of the application, and you are going to pay back the flash loan all in one go. And so the benefit of this is that you started off with 30 DAI, $30 of your own money, and then you took out $70 to increase your exposure to $100. In the exact same transaction, you pay the loan back, and now you have $100 sitting in the application, all right, rather than just $30. And you couldn't have done that because you didn't have $100 to begin with. You only had 30, so you increased your exposure by about 3 times, all right? So what does that mean? So does that mean 3 times the money? Well, not quite, but it's pretty close. So I'll explain why. So what you're doing here is you're getting 1.07% on your deposited funds, but you're having to pay 2.81% on the borrowed funds that you use to pay back the flash loan. So these essentially are going to cancel each other out because, of how the borrow is calculated on a smaller amount rather than the earnings of the whole, deposit amount, which is 100. So yeah, 70 and 100. And then what you're really earning your money is on the second token here, the compound token that's getting paid as passive income. And then you're really tripling these rewards, but you're essentially canceling out these rewards. So either way you slice it, you're making a lot more money by depositing this way than you would, if you just use your own money without any type of increase in exposure. And that's the way that once you do this is completely passive, and you don't have to sit there and check things and move to a different yield farm. You're just getting more rewards while you sleep. You don't have to do things like invent new trading strategies, all that type of stuff, so you can earn money with flash loans this way in a completely passive manner. All right, so now let's talk about a couple of risks associated with this, okay? Because again, this is not a completely risk-free strategy. That's one of the reasons that, this is, giving you more passive income, and anytime you're increasing that, there's always going to be a cost to pay. In this case, it's a small amount of risk, all right? So what are the risks? I'll try to clearly outline these so that you know what you're getting yourself into. So essentially, I did this with $30 very intentionally because it's going to be a very small amount of money, all right? So there is a potential liquidation risk whenever you put that principal into the application. So what is it? Well, essentially, you see you've got a deposit interest rate here and a borrow interest rate here, all right? So essentially, if there's any volatility in interest rates and you start to creep up into, not being able to pay back that loan because of that, then you can get into liquidation territory of your principal that you put into the application right here. Now, there's some ways around that. All right. If you notice the numbers that I used here on the application, $30 and $70, those together, add up to be $100. Well, in this case, I'm using those numbers very intentionally because Compound has what's called a collateralization factor of 75% for this version of the protocol. So that basically means you can borrow up to 75% of the amount of money that you deposit. Okay. But if you cross that collateralization factor threshold, that's what gets you into liquidation, right? One way to decrease that, of course, is to back off the amount of money that you're borrowing. So let's say that if you deposited 30, that you only borrowed 30 to increase your exposure by 2. That, of course, is going to decrease the amount of passive income that you would make, but it does make this a little bit safer. Now, other risks, as always, include smart contract risk. There's always risk when you're putting money into smart contracts or creating your own smart contracts that handle these type of transactions. But those are want to be very transparent about those for this particular strategy. All right, so that's an overview of exactly how you can use flash loans to make passive income in 2023 and how you have a massive edge as a developer to do this in ways that other people don't. So I'm going to show you how to do this step-by-step inside the Flash Loan Masterclass on Thursday, February 9th. I'll cover everything that you need to know to make a real live passive income like this, give you the exact coding solution, show you how to set it up, and how to customize it to do really whatever you want to. So make sure you hold your spot with the link down below. So that's all I've got. Hope you like this video. Make sure you smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. And until next time, thanks for watching Dapp University.